Now that we spoke about what what women are usually face during pregnancy or during postpartum, there is this weird pressure of having a benchmark, setting sort of benchmarks to yourself and to your kids. Could be from your immediate family, could be from somebody who is maybe your best friend, or something that you have seen, somebody who's been trying to influence you, maybe even your partner. How do you deal with such sort of things, that okay, you're supposed to feed at this time, you're supposed to do this, the kid is supposed to be this much of weight, this is just one, a small ocean, a drop in the ocean sort of things. So how do you deal with something like that, Sowmya? So you have you seen this? I'm sure when you mentioned that your daughter, when she was born, she was underweight, so I'm sure you must have got like a world of suggestions.
And you yourself will also have, right? It's not just others. Inherently, you yourself will be, you have a lot of doubts, self-doubts when you're a first-time mother. You feel guilty if they're not eating, if they're not. Your whole day, revolves around, did she have a breakfast to lunch? Remember when she was 10 months, we went to a vacation to Goa. We booked a really nice place. We were living in Taj. And all we did was feed her breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I don't think we did anything else the entire 3 days. So I was the one who used to be more worried. My husband, on the other hand, always used to say, "It's okay. People, you should not take so much pressure when she's not eating." Or you think that then slowly, and when you start working. That whole thing again also, because I joined when she was 3 months and then worked from home till 6 months. And then when you start working, it becomes even more, because you're missing 2 meals, you're not there. So you yourself will not have confidence whether the other person, did she eat well? The whole thing goes on. Then I think slowly you come out of it. And one thing is, do not compare yourself with others. Because once you learn other stories, I've seen other people, some of my colleagues who were, I have one of my colleagues, she worked from a hospital for a year because her daughter was going through a brain surgery and other problems. She was working from a hospital and she could manage it. So when you see others, you'll feel okay. You should not blow up your problems. Maybe everyone faces these and they're part of the course. But to get to that point, it does take time. Every new you feel it. My daughter was born in 2010, way before the COVID era, and if I used to ask everyone who touches her to sanitize their hands, people used to look at me very weirdly.
Yeah, I still remember that. Yeah.
But then now it's become the new normal, right? But then at that point in time, people were like, she's way too particular, or no, it's not giving. I think everyone, and it all evolves. You also do not follow the same path. You keep learning, and what works for you at one point of time works for you. It may not be what works for the others as well, but just be.
Yeah. Well said. So what do you feel, Deepthy? How?
Well, see, challenges. I mean, like my daughter is in the age group of, she's like finishing 8 and just coming to 9, and she's developing her own individual personality of what she is. She's developing her own likes, dislikes, what she enjoys, and all that. First thing is, I think we shouldn't, as Sowmya has also mentioned, don't compare your kid with somebody else or yourself to another mom. What best is for your child. You are the best judge as a mother, and probably we should understand, what they want and take it that way. Like, now she's in a phase where all her friends or my other friends' kids are like, what classes are you sending your child to, apart from school?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So is she learning dancing? Is she doing karate? Did you put her in swimming classes? What is she doing in summer vacation? I don't take that pressure. One thing, whatever my child is interested, I will let her do it the way she wants. Like, I will not take that pressure from society. Like, I've seen some parents doing, oh, they are sending them to that classes. I should put my child in this class. Never, never, never do that to your kids. Understand what is their interest in life. Like, way before, when my daughter was like hardly 3 or 4, we understood that she loves dancing. She literally grooves to music. And eventually we put her to dance classes. We thought we'll do a trial, tried and tested and all of that. And now she enjoys. She goes to dance classes, that way. So I strongly believe never your own family is yourself. You are unique in your own self, and your child is the most unique child. Understand what are their needs. Never judge yourself. Never judge your child. Never think you're low or you're not doing something right for your child. Every mother does the best thing for the child. It's nothing wrong or right. It could be wrong for somebody else, but that's the best thing for you, for your circumstances, for your family, for your child, for yourself, that way. I think, this is how I try to take it. Yeah.
Lovely. Yes, Kamala. So what did you face? I mean, I think this is one very interesting thing I always wanted to check, when you have moved out of your comfort zone, that is when you moved from your native, from your most
familiar surroundings.
I know, familiar surroundings to something absolutely new. And people don't even speak your language when you're living around in some other place. So how did you manage something like that? I'm sure you get accustomed to things like that. Maybe in 2 or 3 days, you'll get used to, people around you and stuff like that. But there are a lot of things that comes into picture when you have kids, when you have to handle a lot of things with respect to how their schedule works, their school and everything. How did that, work for you?
First, it was difficult when you move from wherever you are.
Yeah.
And second, first of all, I'm a person who would love to stay in India. So
I know.
That itself is a hurdle for me, coming and staying here. And so overcoming that and then bringing up the kids here, you are in a dilemma whether you want to bring them up in the way you were brought up, because you feel that is the norm, right? You've been brought up, just do this.
Correct.
You pray to God, you do this, do that, and all those kind of things.
Right.
And if you're going to do that strictly, your child is going to stand out here.
No, yes.
Because the system here is different. You can't have him following all this and then say, okay, live in US and follow the same things you're following in India. So that becomes an issue that you have to decide whether you want to, how many things do you want to continue with which you grew up, and how much do you want to have your child learn from the local culture so that he doesn't feel
left out.
Left out, but he's also learning your culture.
Right. My goodness, that is so much of a conflict.
It is, and more than us, I think it's more difficult for our kids because they have to follow 2 different kind of things. Because I told them, once you enter the house, you have to speak Telugu. There's no other way. You can't speak anything else.
Correct.
Because they have to know our language. And when they're young, it's difficult because they feel, why is mom forcing us? Whereas we can speak English everywhere. And she knows how to speak English. But she's still forcing, or dad is forcing us. But once they are teenagers, then they realize, oh, learning a language with no one else knows, it's like a secret language. Then they start picking up more. Till then, it's like you are with a ruler, like, please, talk Telugu, or whatever. In the same way, you have to keep telling them, learn our language or learn our culture. Why do we have to do it? We don't have to do it here. So that is a major thing, I think, letting them do certain things the way they are done locally over here. And the other thing is, there are some parents who kind of say, okay, we are living in US, we're going to live the American way and let the children go all out.
Right. Right.
I couldn't do that. That's like very, very risky.
Yeah.
So I have them. I think that's why these children find it more difficult because they have two lives to live. Like my son says he speaks two languages. He says the way I speak to my mom, dad, and with my friends, he says I speak the Indian English. And when he speaks with his friends, he says it automatically he speaks the American way.
Yeah.
So basically they are living like two lives.
No, I'm sure. Wow.
But I'm happy with whatever I did. I did the best. Like she
That's
said,
lovely.
Aditi said, it was the best I could do. And there are days when I beat myself up and I cry that did I do enough? Did I not do something so
Yeah.
they couldn't do this? But then I suppose that when I calm down and I feel better the next day, I look back, I say, okay, that's the best I could do at that moment. If I was already overworked and doing everything and I took the best decision, it's not like I'm there to hurt them or.
Right. Absolutely right. Absolutely. So within whatever that we have seen, whatever our upbringing was, or whatever that we had, undergone, we kind of always try to find a midpoint where, okay, we compromise on certain things so the kids or the next gen, kind of move forward, and you kind of mix a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a pinch of this and a pinch of that, and probably let them live. So I think that's how that's how it all happens. And I can tell you, both my kids, they're just twins for the sake of it. Both of them are so different. One of them speaks Telugu, the other one speaks English, thanks to the idiot box that sits in my house. A lot of these cartoons, and she speaks a lot of English and that weird slang English, and the other one speaks to me in nice Telugu. So there's sometimes that you can't help, and when you try to correct them, they will one person asks W, the other person says mommy. I'm like, okay, fine. So it's just, you have to go with it. You have to take it with a pinch of salt, and kind of just okay. I think it's maybe when it comes to Kamala and her sort of generation, they have seen so many changes, from the advent of internet to moving to a new country to bringing their children in a completely absolutely alien environment to getting accustomed to it, and then get used to the technology and advancements of whatever it is still what we are seeing today. So I think hats off to that generation to get used to all of that, Now I think all our mothers, or probably even our grandmothers, are using WhatsApp, can do FaceTimes, can do Facebook calls, and can even post status. So I think that's how advancements work, and that's how technology works, and probably forces us to, go forward. Also, it also brings in a lot of negativity too. So if we have had an interview with Dr. Menaka. So she she is a very active enforcer of not having too much of TV time. So she works against addiction of TV gadgets. She has brought up her children in this age. Children are respectively 14 and 13 years of age without gadgets.
Wow.
Of course they have. I mean, the amount of research that she has done against all of that is phenomenal. So I'm sure when you get time, please watch the interview that I had with her. I was trying to catch her for a very long time, and finally I caught her, because I think this new age mothers, if you understand what I don't know if I come into the new age motherhood or whatever, but the internet and this social media has so much of effect on us, even when they're born. I have to have my phone beside me, not to check on social media, but to make sure that I'm reading the latest on how to do perfect latch, or probably how to do breastfeeding. So no, I'm serious. You know, when I delivered my twins, I did not know that I can feed them simultaneously. I'm sure you didn't know too. Okay, there's something called a football hold. Okay, and this is thanks to my aunt, who is she'll kill me if I call her aunt though, but she's she's a pediatrician. She was the one when I spoke to her, like after 1 month or so. Think about feeding twins every 2 hours, okay? And you practically being a mother will not have a break through the entire day. I slept 40 minutes for 1 month. I'm telling you, I mean, we have technology advancements, but we being so much of social savvy, I didn't know it. The doctor didn't tell me, the lactation consultant didn't tell me. You know, I couldn't, until she told me what a football hold is. Then I got to know that, all right, I'm saving so much of time. I could sleep for 3 hours. 3 hours was a big deal for me at that point of time. So I think the more we think that, okay, these, there are a lot of things that affect us. Yes, Sowmya, go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah. Technology is double-edged. There are a lot of positives.
Yeah.
Again, there will be some negatives because of the addiction.
Yeah.
Because of the generation gap sometimes.
The biggest negative I found is people posting symptoms on Facebook. I said, please go consult a doctor. If your kid is not well, your kid is having a rash, your kid is having loose motions, you post that on social media, really? I mean, what? You have to go rush the kid to a doctor. It's a newborn. You really don't wait for somebody to. So you'll be like checking on Facebook, and I'm like, okay, I got somebody to comment on it. I mean, that I felt was very absurd. So I will check Facebook. That's when I realized, oh my goodness, so this is what we are trying to be. That is, Google or a Facebook or an Instagram is trying to replace your doctor, trying to replace your whatever, you know, your mother, your father, could be anybody. So, I mean, though I've seen the bad effects of it, being the new mother, so I check a lot of these things online, and you know, you should do this, you should do that, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. There's so many shouldn'ts that I'm like, okay. So what is that you would like to give an advice to the new age mothers? They have access to too much of information today, way too much, and way too much of influence of social media and all of that, you know, fat shaming and all of that, you know, unnecessary pressure. What is your advice? Deepthy, what do you think? And you've been living away from your home for a very long time now. So I'm sure you must have seen all of that. They would ask you that, my goodness, don't look like an 8-year-old's mom. I also said that, you know. So it's like an amazing thing to hear from all of them, but also not an amazing thing because I'm not able to become like you. So how do you, what is that you would like to suggest?
See, I mean, it's different for each individual. You know, first thing is accept the body, you know, your body the way it is. You know, you do not have control after, you know, the certain things that you can do, certain things are beyond your control. So just accept how it is with you. You know, I mean, I had this. Initially, when you know, my daughter was too young, I used to feel, you know, God, look at myself, how I have become, you know, how was I before, you know, not even fitting into my dresses, you know, when will I become normal? But yes, things slowly fell into place. I started getting back to my normal self, just being growing, and people judge you for so many things, you know. When will you stop breastfeeding the child?
Oh, yes.
6 months, you know. Those are all your conscious calls. Like, you know, I was breastfeeding my child till she was 18 months old. Like, you know, obviously 6 months was a complete breastfeeding phase. And then only in the mornings and nights when I was available at home, I used to do it. And then, you know, eventually I've decided that, you know, the weaning phase where I put her to solids properly. everybody will question, this is the time you should give solids to your child. This is the time you should try this. Did they start walking? Is she talking? What is she doing? So there are certain societal norms and standards always given, but your child is unique. Understand that, and stop comparing. Basically, I learned this from my other friends, and eventually I've taken it as a tool for myself. I never compare. Now my daughter knows it so much. If I ever by mistake say a word, she says, "Mama, you said you shouldn't compare." So that's how it is. So she's grown up like this individual personality. She's been a very independent child. That's how I wanted her to grow, and then that's how she's been growing. She takes decision for herself. She's,
Very
my
nice.
other friends and family also say that she's matured for her age. Touchwood, thankfully, for the entire cooperation and support my husband also puts into this journey of, me being a mother. Obviously, he also plays an equal important role in it. And that's how, it's one thing I would say is never judge yourself or your child. Do not compare yourself to other moms. Do not compare your child to the other children. That's it.
Yes. Kamala ji, what do you have to say? Your advice to the new age moms.
The new age moms, I would say first that compared to, I think, my generation, the new generation mothers, obviously their career is as important or more important. So means more important than ours was, because once we had children, for us, our career and everything else was secondary. Children were first priority. Whereas the new generation, their career is equally important. And I understand they will pay attention to that and spend more time with that. But I would say that it doesn't mean you just give birth to the child and leave him somewhere and then either look through the internet and whatever things or read books. Because I've seen so many parents who keep reading all these books written by famous child psychologists and all that and say, oh, this should be done. And why isn't my child doing that? And there's something wrong. So instead of spending time reading that book and all, I would say, spend some time with your child every day, get to know him. Like, yes, you are doing your career. You're spending 12 hours maybe or 10 hours on your career job, but spend at least an hour or two with your child and know him. Because most of them, out of need or whatever reason, they are dropping them in daycare and all those things. So it's inevitably the daycare person who's bringing up your child. So you really have no influence over the child.
Yeah.
So that's why I would say that. And I would also, the other thing is, please pay attention to what your parents did. Because of the experience, it may not be like very much useful to you at this point, or you may change it to your needs. But they did do something and it made you where you are at this point.
Absolutely.
They know certain things worked well for them. So use that and the information you're getting from all the internet and then make a decision for your child. You have to know the thing. Because I've seen in my class, like in my classroom, I see everyday children. And I've seen children who are Indians and who are from other countries. But I've seen most of them, they do make an effort. But some of them are like, oh, you didn't teach my child this. I'm not going to teach your child how to stand and sit and put his hands up or say no or say yes and everything. There are certain things that come from you, right? I can teach certain things as a teacher, but some things have to come from the house, that you have to spend time at home and do it. So it would be nice if they can reduce their time on the internet, but spend quality time with the children every day, half an hour, and get to know what their child likes. Because it surprises me when they come and in the evening when they come to pick up the children, they say, what is my child like? It's the birthday next week and I want to arrange something. What is the favorite thing? Who is the best friend in the classroom? It's like, my goodness, you're going to start your homework now.
Oh
And
my God. Okay.
you should be knowing your child better than that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so to be
Wow.
able to spend more time. And like you said, no looking at Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook is always like a display of the good things that are happening in life.
The best things. Absolutely. So colorful.
Nobody
All
shows
the time.
at
Yeah.
what you're going through
Correct.
or what is the difficulty, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I think Sowmya seems to have.
Absolutely true. Social media is where you only put your happy things. You know,
Yeah.
you post only the best moments of your life. It's just a part of your life. You know, this is much beyond what exactly goes in our life.
Yeah. True.
Okay. So I think Sowmya must have probably logged off, but we will end this session with one small question. So, how important do you think is seeking help? You know, when you, as a mother or as a woman who's been facing some difficulties, something that is bothering you at any point of your journey through motherhood or otherwise, how important is it to talk to somebody and seek help? Because a lot of us are unaware that there are a lot of avenues where you can do that. Some of us don't really like to talk to somebody who they know, because they're bound to judge you. They're bound to give you a biased opinion. So you would want somebody who's completely unaware of what you are, who you are. So you would like to get that sort of person to, just give an ear to you and probably sound of some suggestion or an advice if you're looking for something. So how important do you think that is?
Absolutely. It is the most important thing that you seek help, you know. Otherwise, you're mentally drained, you're stressed out. There are days when you just, break down and, you're in tears, you're shattered. You need that support. You need that shoulder, where you can just rest your head and, tell them that, this is what I have been going through. At least you need that someone who will hear you out. They might not give you any piece of advice or anything, but if somebody is just hearing you out, I think that takes away half of your burden. It's really important that you seek help, and I always do seek help. Touch wood, I have good friends, good spouse who listens to me, whatever I have to say. But yes, definitely you should seek help. Otherwise it'll keep adding on to your trauma or the stress that you have. It's always better you seek help, have a shoulder for yourself, so that you are assured that okay, if not something else, at least somebody is hearing to what I'm going through, and that way.
Yes, Kamala, please.
I raised my hand because I wanted to say not 100%, but 200% yes. You have to raise your hand and say, yes, I need help. There's nothing shameful in that and nothing wrong in that. You have to. Because
so happy.
when I was pregnant with my daughter here and I had to go around like midnight because I had false pains. I didn't know that. And I was there whole like 3-4 hours. And I told the doctor, I'm sorry, I like bothered you to come to the office and all that. He was like, no, don't think that. I mean, that was the first time. And because that was first experience over here.
Correct.
Back home in India, when I had my son, it was like, I mean, when I compare the two, I realized, oh my God, even being a female doctor, she was like, why do you even cringe or make a face when you come to see me? Of course it's painful. What do you think? And all that.
Oh my God, yes.
Of course it's painful, but then you can be supportive, right? There's no this thing. Here he was one, he said, all your job is to raise your hand. And then we are all here to support you. That was like, I feel it's applicable to anything.
Yeah, correct.
So I feel unless you raise your hand,
Right.
Nothing is going to happen. But then now I see in certain circumstances that, like you said earlier, that person may not be aware that she's
Correct.
going through a difficulty
Correct.
or she needs to raise her hand.
Correct.
But I wish more people were aware of this thing, and then they can help her out.
Right. Right.
Like
Right.
make her aware and like be supportive, help her out in different ways.
Right.
Because if you're aware, then you're able to support.
Right.
So I would say opening out and asking for help.
There's nothing
And
wrong.
different persons, like you said, you talk to different persons for different things.
Correct. Correct.
That solves the problem. Not
Superb.
solves, but at least it's an outlet for that.
Right. Correct. Correct. So before you just logged in, Sowmya, so we were talking about how important it is to seek help. So when you're facing something, when you want to just let it out, as Kamala rightly said, just let it out. How important is it for you to talk, speak up, seek help? Don't let it bottle up within you. And how important do you think it is?
I think it's very important. You need to, or else not just about your kids or about being a mother. Every aspect you should have someone to talk to. Sometimes it's your mother, it's your friends, depending on the situation. You should have one person whom you tell everything, or
Right.
and anything you need a help, you certainly. Sometimes you have to take decisions which may seem right to you, may not be. Everyone else might question. I took a break when my kids were 6 and 8. Everyone was surprised, like, why do you need a break now? At that point in time, I was finding it difficult to manage the work priorities versus home, and I wanted 6 months of just with the kids, and that was a big decision at that point. But I still took it. It was surprising. So you need people to talk to, and you have to, what works for you may not work for the other person, but you should have someone. The other person need not give you any advice. They can just listen.
Correct.
It helps.
It helps immensely. Yes.
It helps. And it also helps to talk to strangers. I mean, I've seen at my
Beautiful.
workplace.
Yeah.
I've seen in my workplace, there used to be this lady, she had a very difficult, nice lady. She had a difficult in-laws and, very traditional family. But then I just met her, I think, the second day in my project, and she started talking to me about them. It was her event every year. So everyone in the office knew about it. But then that was an outlet, and it sometimes helps. You rant and it helps.
Correct. Wow, that's nice. Thank you all so much. I think you have reinstated that faith in me that not only all the other people who have fancy things to say about mental health and seeking help and all that, every day, every woman, every person, irrespective of what your standing is, where you are, how you're doing, it is important to seek help, to let your emotions out, to let your feelings out. It is nothing wrong. If you're facing something, please speak up. Don't let it, go bad, go worse. And once it goes worse, it will start affecting you and also people around you. So I think, thank you all so much, super moms and amazing women who have fought through your battles so well. And you have given us something amazing to think and talk about. And thank you so much that you have joined us today. It is a pleasure always to talk to women who are open to talk about mental health. I've seen so many who don't want to talk, who don't even want to venture into that. People who are extremely educated, who have had the best of jobs at leadership positions, do not want to speak about mental health at all. I've been trying to talk to a lot of women who can come and give me interviews. I sadly have people rejecting, saying, I don't know what will I talk, and what can I speak about mental health? So, I mean, a lot of them perceive that mental health is an illness, which is ghor pap, than thinking that mental health is ghor pap. So,
no, it is. I'm sorry, can I jump in? It is an illness, but then I feel, then recognize it as an illness and not shun those people, right?
Correct. Right.
Recognize it's an illness and treat it, and just be done, not hide and be like,
Right.
oh my God, this guy has this thing, so leave him alone. Don't talk to him. This is bad. Not like that. It is.
It's as simple as understanding why you are not having normal routine. Your routine gets disturbed. That is an immediate alarm for anybody to wake up and see, okay, I'm doing this, this, and this. Why am I not doing this, this, and this?
Yeah.
And that's it. You will have your solution. At least you're having your awareness.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's my strive. That is where I'm fighting as many people and as many opinions as possible to, you know, just bring that bit of awareness. Not only, you know, wait till you have those kind of backward step to normalcy, but towards understanding, you know, people who are just normal, to just vent out your feelings. You don't have to really undergo something to understand what mental health is all about. That's a very wrong notion to understand. You don't have to get fever to know what fever symptoms are, you know. So it's as that. So anyway, so it is just so nice.
It's a wonderful thing actually that you started for this whole thing.
Thank you so much. And with amazing people like you who've given me so much unconditional support, I hope we'll fight this through someday. And my only dream is to help as many women as possible to bring that awareness who are fighting silently, you know. They don't have any other way. I have identified so many women. So many of them are coming and talking to us. I think that is the biggest step we have crossed. I've had 50-year-old women speak to me, 20-year-old girl speak to me, you know, as usual, mothers and all of them coming and speaking to me and saying, I want to stay anonymous, but I want to see where this is going. So something is better. So that itself is the biggest achievement for somebody like us. So thank you all so much again for taking time. It is amazing to have you guys, and hopefully we'll meet again. Ta-da, see you, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.